Hey Garrett, I figured a voiceover clip would be a little less tedious for you to watch, not as much reading involved. So on this day, I figured I would incorporate what you've been telling me in the last few sessions where I'm too loose on the descent of my squat. So on this 275 warm-up, I did the first one just basically cable cut elevator. The second one was a little bit tighter, and this third one I tried to get real tight, and it felt a lot easier because of that. So definitely I see your point, and I'll try to be doing quality over quantity in the upcoming weeks. I'm glad you talked me out of doing basically 2 weeks in one to catch up on my workouts. So I'm gonna just accept the fact that I'm 1 week behind and delay my mock meet by a week because of that. So here's a 375 warm-up, so I'll be good, try to stay tight as well. I've been trying to keep my head in a more upright position, or more deliberately upright, and I feel like that prevents me from getting too forward in the squat. My goal for this session was to work up to 355, which is my current 4 rep max. So if I'm on a 4-week cycle, I should be getting stronger every month, and I feel that my training should reflect that. So I felt that working up to 355 in the 4th set of this day would be a pretty good indicator that I can reach above that for a 4 rep max. I'm thinking I should be capable of 365, a 374 rep maybe, but definitely should be over 355. So I wanted to kind of play around with that today. So this is 335, this is the first set here. I tried to also work on getting respectable depth on all of these squats for today. Also, something you pointed out in my squats in the past is that the bar will tend to twist forward on my right side. And I felt in the warm-ups that my right hip was a little bit tight. It was nothing bad or even out of the ordinary, but I guess it could be contributing to that twisting of the bar. I don't really feel it much during the movement itself, but it really shows up clearly there on the video. You'll see in the 355 later on that it's a little bit more pronounced. The more tight I am, the more it prevents that twisting around, but it's definitely still there at all my squats, and I'm going to work to eliminate that. This second set is a 5-pound jump over the first one. I felt that 335 was pretty heavy, and maybe it was from all the extra bracing on the way down, but I felt it was fairly taxing. So at this point I wasn't 100% confident I was going to be able to get to 355, so I just took 5-pound jumps from this set to the next one, which brought me to 345 on this third set. This one though, I got a little bit more amped up for the set. Usually I lift in a pretty calm mindset, and like to just focus as much as possible, remember as many cues as I can fit in my head. This one I just kind of got more fired up for it. I really wanted to get that 355 in. I had some big goals for this session, and I really wanted to be able to get some work in that I was proud of. So finally, this is 355 set. Like I mentioned, I just got a little bit more pumped up for this one and tried to really stay tight on it and to try to really take it to a decent depth with it. This really shouldn't be a maximal 4 for me, so I really wanted to demonstrate that here. All the sets up to this I had rated at an RPE 8.5. This one I had at a 9. So I feel pretty good that I went 20 pounds above program to hit my RPE, so I was pretty pleased with that. On the 4th rep, I had a little bit of a sticking point, but I felt very in control of the lift the entire time. You see that twisting of the barbell shows up there a little bit, especially on that last rep. A tendency I've noticed that I've had, especially with this video footage, is that I only want to show you sort of the best of my lifting, which I realize is irrational, but I try to sometimes keep the uglier bits from throwing them up here. Normally, I qualify my high bar as part of those uglier bits because it's not a lift that I have nearly as much experience as my low bar with. So I thought they would look worse than they actually did. So I'm really glad I had the camera out on this day. My form looked not too bad. I was pretty happy with it. I was trying to channel my inner Candido here in the closer hands and trying to get my elbow position down low and tucked under. Now in the program, these are originally front squats, and I had 250 written here, So obviously I should be able to high bar more than a front squat. So I did the first set at 250. The second set was the one you just saw, that was at 275. It felt real easy. I think I had it in RPE 7. And this here is 300. And this one I had for an RPE 9, but you'll see why. I completely forget to count, and instead of doing 5, I do 7, because rep 6 I thought was rep 4, and I thought, well, I really don't want to undershoot my reps because I can't count, so I'll punish myself by doing another one. Really trying to keep an upright head position here. I feel like that's pretty important with a high bar squat. Maybe I exaggerated a little bit too much. My head's kind of out of neutral, but I try to keep it in a fixed position throughout the lift. One thing I always feel guilty about is that you're constantly asking for more benching footage, and I don't know, for some reason I feel like benching is boring or just not as interesting as the other two lifts, and I just find a reason not to film it a lot of the time. But the last mock meet, my bench obviously was the lift I struggled in the most, and especially rehabbing that shoulder and dialing my form in. Hamish had a question on the Facebook page a little while ago about how to utilize his legs and keep his hips on the bench press. And I kind of explained what I did for leg drive, and in writing it down, I actually realized how poor it is for generating power. And after rewatching the Eric Spotto video that you posted up for us, I really tried to incorporate how he coils up at the beginning of the lift, and I love it. I felt all kinds of tension throughout the movement on this day. Usually I'm seeking tension a lot of the time, and my legs are moving around, and I don't really feel very connected and tight through my hips into my core as I'm pressing. But I felt like I almost had to relax a little bit, not to have too much tension, and to get my hips up off the bench. Overall, I felt really good on this day. That arch is a lot better than I'm normally able to achieve, and I really felt tight here. This 185 warm-up felt really, really good. Trying to keep my elbows tucked in just a little bit more than normal. I know Spoto said he flares them at the top, but I'm kind of hesitant to do that to keep the pressure away from my shoulder, and he does currently have to go through shoulder surgery, so I don't know how safe that advice might be for people that aren't elite level lifters. This is the first set, I believe that's 205 is what the program called for. My goal for this was to work up to 225 for the fours with decent pauses on them. I went ahead and adjusted my training numbers down to the 255 instead of the 270. I felt like quality reps and legitimate pauses were going to help me more in rehabbing the shoulder and developing my control through the bench press than having to struggle out and grind out every set through the whole cycle. But if it was there for the day, I really wanted to reach above and to get closer to what I feel like I should be able to do on the bench press. So this second set is 215, so a 10-pound jump, and I felt like it moved really well. Again, the extra tension is just so helpful, and I was able to take a decent pause on that last one. The shoulder felt really good on the day. Immediately after the press, I describe it as more of a tightness than a pain in the shoulder, and even that's pretty minimal. Give it a little bit of a quick massage with my fingers between sets, and it really dissipated pretty quick. This one here, you see I got up to the 225. This is the third set of 4, and I feel like this one pretty well. I'm really excited to see this. My hand position is in just one finger from the mock meet, and I feel like that helps take a little bit of pressure away from the shoulder. And I've always been kind of a tricep dominant presser, and I feel like the more arm I can get in there, the better. And on the last set of the 225, I really wanted to show it from this angle to see kind of the level the bar is going to sit at. And I noticed as soon as I take it out of the rack, I'm crooked on it. You can see there with the feet placement, Spoto said you got to play around with it, so I ended up being way too close to the racking, and as soon as I took the barbell off, I contacted the racking and actually shot the bar forward. So I got my hands off, reset my feet, and went to go press again. I'll be more mindful of that in the future to be able to actually get, eyes under the barbell, not too close to the racking, and kind of I sort of lift my hips up off the bench as I kind of lift off to myself and then settle them back down as I get the barbell over my shoulders. So I felt like the bar speed is pretty good on this set, but see I have the obvious lean on the barbell. I'm wondering if I have reduced mobility in my injured shoulder there, that I can't clamp it down the way I do on my right side, and actually would act as though I have one arm longer than the other. So this last set here is this is my second set of my close grip work, and every once in a while when I'm close gripping I feel that I can generate more force than my competition grip. So for this one I was programmed to do 175, but it's 205 on the bar. I did 185 for the first set and that flew up real easy, so to get to my RPE 9 I had 205, and I decided to just go for it and see how many reps I can get in. I ended up getting 10 reps like this. The bar angle looks a little bit better. It doesn't look like it dips down so much to the side that I carry most of the weight on. So I'm wondering if I should switch to a close grip, a competition press. This 205 for 10 ends up being about a 275 one rep, and that is miles better than the 255 I had in my mock meet. So let me know what you think. I also wasn't wearing a belt or wrist wraps on this set, and it came at the very end of the workout, so I'm very encouraged by that. Thanks for watching. Take care.